corn desert is one of the most beautiful places on the earth. It is different, it is beautiful, and certainly the weather is fantastic.
I mean, we're doing this today 75 degrees outside while the rest of the country is freezing to death. You don't have to worry about snow days or days your employees can't get to work.
It's a state that doesn't really make any excuses for anything. It's got some of the hottest weather in the world, but that's part of who we are.
Being an hour away from some of the great wonders of the world is pretty magnificent. That's one of the things that brought me to Arizona. You're so close to so many fantastic things, and if you want to go a little further, you can go a little further. But the fact remains, you are a day's drive away from some magnificent sights.
We are warm, welcoming people. We are wonderfully diverse. We are blessed to have our Native American history and our Latino community and all the history that our Latino community represents. We have people from all over the world that have chosen to locate in our community. Those are all great things to build upon, but the real thing that we're going to be able to build upon to build that economy that is so competitive moving for the future is our decision to invest in our number one asset, and that is the people that we are fortunate to have here in Phoenix and in Arizona.
I think Arizona's got a tremendous amount of talent, and I think one of the challenges, there's so much talent in Arizona. One of the challenges is bringing that collective talent together in a collective vision and moving forward.
Phoenix needs to take a leadership role when it comes to advancing smart public policies. But we also need to be the very best regional partner that we can be. And so you name the public policy. To do it right, to do it well, it has to be done on a regional basis.
I think we've been connecting with other cities, whether it's in our own region through MAG, the Mariposa Association of Governments. We work directly regionally to try to sustain not only our own cities, but certainly the region. I think what's best for my neighboring cities is just as important for us, because neighbors don't really know what the borders are in our communities, and so we need to work together to do that.
The West Valley mayors, as I mentioned early on, this is my fourth term. They have never been the cooperation and relationships between the West Valley mayors as it is today. It's very good. We have regular monthly meetings with the West Valley mayors.
We work as a East Valley region very closely, the mayors do, so that we're complementing each other's efforts and not necessarily competing against each other. We all want to see industries come into the valley and thrive in the valley.
Our collaboration with Chandler, collaboration with the City of Casa Grande, helps us formulate and drive industrial areas that will make it a very lucrative and attractive place to be in the near future. So certainly we're working closely with those cities to drive those industries and that economic development to this area.
I spend a lot of time communicating with mayors from around the state. We have great mayors in this state, and many of us are progressive in our views, and we all understand the importance of cities, not just to the state of Arizona, but as they're taking place in the world. So that's certainly one way. But we're also communicating a great deal with mayors and other governors in northern Mexico, in Sinaloa and Sonora.
Everybody looks at Nogales now and the border region. They look at it as an economic boost instead of issues with security with Mexico, because we need to assure and we need to be improving our relations with Mexico every day, because Mexico, you have to remember, is our number one trading partner for the state of Arizona. So we built that relation with Mexico in every aspect, not only economically, I'm talking about, but in the produce industry, maquiladora industry, manufacturing, tourism, all these things. If we work on that, we would be very successful. The state of Arizona will be very successful.
If Maricopa County is healthy, that's a good thing, but if the rest of the state isn't, that's not a good thing. We all need to kind of grow together, and hopefully, as we recognize the value of the Sun Corridor megapolitan area and the need to be competitive on a worldwide level as a megapolitan area, that will help the entire state grow in a positive direction.
We're coming together as a group. we have so many tremendous assets in our community. And you're seeing the business communities come together and work with the local governments to really set the tone for future generations. I mean, after all, we're here to help educate and bring opportunities for future generations. And that's one of the most rewarding jobs of being a mayor, is to look at the future growth and the future generations. And one of the main reasons why I ran for mayor was to make sure that my 2 daughters experience what I did growing up in our community, but that much better. And being in the position where we are and working with the leaders right now currently throughout the state, it's exciting to see what the opportunities are in front of us.
Economic development doesn't happen on a point on a map, it happens regionally. And people have known me for a long time, they've heard that phrase from me forever. We reach out to other cities, towns, and say, we've actually reached out to have other people come in and work at our plants where we've had to find workers. We've had so much development there. One time I think we had more workers than we had people as a population. So we reach out to the other communities to be part of the economic development.
The main thing in economic development is providing that platform, a certain, concern for businesses and appreciation for what they lend to a community. Frankly, nothing else happens unless you've got a solid economic engine running, and maybe even one that's diverse. When here in Scottsdale, we've always played upon the idea that we're a tourist community. We just found out this last year when we introduced the Cure Corridor up in Shea and Shea Boulevard. Cure Corridor is a bioscience and biomedical corridor that, as we developed that and introduced that and we inventoried that, we found out we had one of the largest clusters of that industry anywhere in the state. And we now employ in that industry nearly 20% of the employment in Scottsdale is in that field.
Well, this last year we've had some fairly major completions of projects. Our fire station number 1, which is our primary fire station here in the city of Yuma, was rebuilt from the ground up and has won several national awards. So that is something that we're very proud of as a community. Our Avenue 3E project, which was an overpass over the active Union Pacific Railroad, was recently completed also, and it has won its own awards. It connects not only our military infrastructure to the interstate and the rest of the community, but is also the corridor where our ag industry funnels a lot of the product through and keeps the economy going. I believe the number is $100 million worth of investment going into our medical center here in Yuma. And it's a cancer center, so we'll be able to provide services here that people would have had to go out of town for in the past, as well as just an increased capacity in our emergency room and operation of the hospital. So it's something that is extremely important due to the flux of demand in our community from our winter population to our summer population. But it is definitely a project that's underway and will be underway for a while, but will have some immediate results and benefits to our community.
My personal vision that I actually had as part of my platform when I was elected for my first term is to move Sedona toward being a model city for sustainability. For example, we're now a bicycle-friendly community. We had no bike trails in Sedona 6 years ago. Now we have over 20 miles. The other thing is that recently we got the designation of a dark sky friendly community. All of our street lighting is dark sky compliant. We have created a funding pot for all non-compliant lighting to come into compliance through a grant system that we have here in Sedona.
We are working to make Tucson a science and technological powerhouse, an extremely contemporary city, but one that cherishes its past. We're creating a water cluster and a solar cluster. We're working on industries that are compatible with our city, compatible with our university and our education systems and our junior college systems, our technology schools, and are compatible with our environment. And we're having a lot of success in focusing on those kind of clusters. Well, on the light rail expansion, I can give you an update. Our 4th car just arrived yesterday. We are going to start service in July of this year, which will be wonderful for our community. We will be up and running before the University of Arizona school year next year. With regard to our work with Mexico, it continues on a weekly basis. Last week I was in Sinaloa. Next week I'll be in Hermosillo. But most importantly, in May, we're going to hold a regional conference of Arizona leaders both elected and business and academics, with Mexican leaders, elected business and academics, and bring us all to Tucson where we can discuss our common issues and make those common bonds to make this region strong.
There is no crisis for us to secure the border. There is no crisis that you can say the numbers are down on apprehensions, and by Homeland Security will tell you that. We have to gear ourselves economically. Now that the Mariposa Port of Entry is being completed, it's fully operational right now, but it's going to be completed in September this year. The flow of traffic will double from 1,500 trucks a day to 3,000 trucks a day. So that'll be a plus for Tucson and Phoenix for distribution. We have to think about the Sun Corridor. That's from Nogales all the way to Prescott. We have to think about the future of I-11, Interstate 11, that could also improve our transportation on the Canamex corridor.
I-11 is important because if we're ever going to become the crossroads of international trade, I-11 is the Canamex corridor. And I know when I talk to groups, I talk about the focus has been on I-11 between Vegas and Phoenix. We need to really look at north of Las Vegas. How do we get it to Reno? How do we get it to Boise, Idaho? We need to look at south of Phoenix as well. How do you get it down to Tucson? How do you get it to Nogales? And there is a group that is working on that. ADOT is currently doing a corridor analysis that I think has about another year to run on it to identify where that will be. Clark County, Nevada last year approved a 3-cent gas tax increase that is intended to help build that I-11 corridor on the Nevada side. So I think there's movement. I think we in Arizona sometimes forget the importance of what that will bring for international trade connecting Canada and Mexico.
The natural progression of mixed-use corridors is multimodal transportation opportunities, traveling from one mixed-use corridor to the next. It provides a centralized point, and so we really have to get better at providing efficient and effective transportation systems so that we can protect our environment in every way.
We need to build a more multimodal city, not only light rail, but also bus rapid transit, neighborhood circulators. We need to be a more bikeable city. I'm very proud that Grid Bike, the bike share program, is coming online in the next few months, and we need to be a more walkable city as well. You gotta have a package of things that really make your city the most desirable place that it possibly can be.
It's tempting to say that the most important thing about our community is that it be the best place to live, work, and play. That's gotten so stale. Everybody says that. But the reality is, we do want to be a place that is not just a place to sleep, but it's a place to live, it's a place to work, that's a place to recreate. It's a place for families of all ages, people of all ages, all work levels. It's a full community, self-sustaining, and not just a simple bedroom community that serves other communities as a place to go to bed at night.
We are one region, and so when it comes, whether it comes to economic development, whether it comes to transportation, air quality, sustainability, the list could go on and on and on. The reality is that Phoenix can't do it alone. Phoenix doesn't want to do it alone. I get and understand and embrace the fact that we have to have community partners in order to achieve success.
We have such a unique opportunity in Arizona. We have people that are working together to increase, what it is that we can do to improve our communities. Mayors and councils are working together as a region to try and improve, what it is that we're competing against. And I just think that Arizona is probably one of the most special spots in the United States and certainly in the world when it comes to the Sonoran Desert.